Hello everybody to the newest session of narrating. Okay, so I'm gonna be honest here. The last video that I uploaded, it was on time. Like seriously, it was on time for once, which is I set my deadlines for a week after the last episode came out, or video I mean. I don't know why I call them episodes sometimes. But anyways, see, like the problem is that I was alright with how the video how I uploaded. I uploaded it on time, which is awesome. First time I ever did. But the problem was that I actually narrated that weeks back before RTX, and that was like a huge no to my end. Like I did not like that because I probably already forgotten most of the fucking story so far, which is stupid, and I'm very sorry for that. But anyways, I did actually go through the narrations so I can, remember what I went off of. So right now I'm gonna not do the huge ass 2-hour long videos anymore. Well, not for a while at least. I know when I want to do it again, but just not right now. And also, if you guys are noticing that my voice sounds different, that's because I'm actually updated to the Windows 10 OS, and I actually tested out my mic and it sounds different than how it was on Windows 8, so I hope that doesn't affect quality or anything. Let me know if it sounds like garbage and I'll try to do something about it. But for now, this is what it has to be, because I haven't tried narrating to fully test it out. But anyways, back to what we're trying to do here. Welcome back. I came back from RTX. I had a really great time. I went to the RWBY panel. I saw some amazing things, like some really rough animation footage and all sorts of things. Even seeing Winter and Crow for the first time, and their actual. God damn, I didn't know what I don't know where I was gonna direct this to. Like, I know, oh yeah, we had to narrate, but then I wanted to talk about some things before it. But anyways, you guys might be noticing that, I'm trying to narrate a lot more than I should be, because if you read too many chapters in a day, it's pretty bad, because then you're basically just reading through a whole entire story in one day, and you won't remember the points of the story, like the major plot points and everything. And I'm not gonna do that, even though I am trying to get a lot of narration sessions down in one day or 2 days. But yeah, I sound pretty dumb right now. Anyways, let's get around to narrating right now. And just to let you guys know, okay, I'm actually kind of sick right now. I mean, I woke up this morning and I just had a bunch of congestion. I hated it. Right now I'm sounding actually alright for once, finally. But I still have a runny nose, and I might actually stop at times to get a drink of water just so that my congestion just won't build up and, destroy my voice or something. But that's all I have to say. Let's start, shall we? Anyways, if you're wondering what kind of music I listen to, it's not really a good idea to listen to this kind of music, but I'm listening to Knuckle Puck, Real Friends, and other sorts of bands. And whenever you're narrating, you don't want to have a second voice in the background, which is basically the music. But I tend to just ignore that and I just go with it, because I want to listen to my favorite songs while I'm narrating. So, you gotta make those sacrifices, and I do pretty good when I narrate with the music on, so I'm alright with that. Except for that one time, the last video, where I was just raging, but that was just mostly because of the story and how the grammar errors got to me. Sorry for making you edit, George. Alright, here is I'm already starting the congestion thing. I'm gonna put the bottle of water next to me just so I can start drinking it when I need to. Alright. Here is chapter 37, Rough Around the Edges. This one is in Cinder's POV. Oh great, I need to get into character too while I'm at it. Just because she was angry when you told her doesn't mean she will be angry forever. When she calms down and thinks about it, she'll be sure to come and find you. I sigh as I listen onto the babbling of the sarcastic, silver-haired boy behind me while I sat at the edge of the roof, my feet hanging over with my right leg over my left, and then below them is a 3-story drop to the green grass. She won't come after me. She won't leave the side of her precious snow angel after I was able to get my hands on her so easily. Right now she is probably balancing between training herself to be capable of keeping me from her precious heiress, who has been unconscious for what has it been, 4 days now, and actually being by her lover's side, waiting for those crystal blue eyes to open once again. I smile, picturing the girl I met at the CCT tower. The fire in her eyes burned brighter than anything I have ever seen. I need to meet that girl once more, all in her glory. If that girl will wake up, just how much of your aura did you put in that dust? If you put nearly as much as you did with I look over my shoulder at him with a stare that cuts him off mid-sentence. You will not compare that girl to Neo. Neo was an emergency case, and I owed her. Unfortunately, I lost my calm while treating Neo, putting in an unfortunate side effect, as well as not being able to fully heal her. I feel my gaze starting to soften and quickly look back ahead of me before Mercury can see my weakened stare. It is early in the morning and the sun has not risen yet, which is actually the reason why I'm up here. I've been awakened from my slumber many times by the sunrise piercing my eyelids through the window, and for once, I want to be ready for it. I suppose that is not the only reason why I'm up here. My second reason for being up here is making her entry right now. You're late, yet again. I sigh as the pink and brown hair girl appears ahead of me, and slightly above. She has a parasol open and uses it to fight gravity's pull in her descent while landing with a mild thud on my lap. She closes her umbrella and looks at me with that always present smile of hers, and both her eyes are her natural color. A lovely light brown that I remember seeing the first time I met her several years ago. Ice cream and an ice cream lover. Tell me, Cinder, do you look around the edges or dive right in? I quickly look over my shoulder at Mercury, who stands there with that smug look on his face. I grit my teeth and begin to reach for the small pouch on my hip, but before I can feel the weight on my lap disappear, and when I look to my lap, there is a lack of Neo. Ouch, did I hit a nerve? Well, I suppose you're it, Mercury begins, but for some reason he pauses. When I look to him, I begin to giggle when I see Neo with her blade taken out of her parasol, holding it to Mercury's neck. I take a closer look at her eyes, and I see one of them is a dark brown and another a lovely shade of pink. And according to my logging of Neo's attitude when their eyes are those two color, there is a probability she will kill, unless I disapprove. I've only known Neo to kill one time against my orders, and her eyes were brown and white at the time. Cat got your tongue, Mercury? Or are you just not an ice cream fan? I whisper with clear amusement in my voice. I watch as Neo brings the blade a little closer to his neck, pressing it to his skin, but not cutting it. Not yet, at least. Alright. I don't trust our tricolored killer with a blade to my neck, or to my hair. Do you know how long it takes me to get my hair like this? Mercury says, always full with his sarcastic and relaxed remarks, even though when he knows she can and will kill him. Does that sound like an apology to you, Neo? I watch as the blade gets pressed tighter to his neck, causing a very thin trickle of blood to start working its way down the length of the blade. Mercury's eyes follow the blade, seeing his blood, and gulps carefully, although he can't swallow too hard or else his Adam's apple would be brushing along the sharp metal. Alright, Cinder, Neapolitan. I apologize for my ice cream joke. I, for one, love the creepy treat, and find it a good way to keep Emerald from killing me during her menstruation cycle. I place a hand over my lips to silence an oncoming laugh, and with my other hand I wait for Neo to lower her blade, which she does without question, but takes the chance to elbow Mercury in the stomach as she walks past him to come towards me. As she reaches for me, her eyes are back to their light brown color. You may go, Mercury. Otherwise, I doubt Neo will have the patience to wait for my order to spare you a second time, I say while leading aside to see him past Neo's thigh. I don't think I get paid enough for this. He sighs as he turns around and enters the stairwell. Shit, I'm sorry. But before he leaves, I need to tell him one more thing. Mercury? Yes? He pauses, looking at me from over his shoulder. Don't think. Obey. I grin, hearing him suck his teeth, then sigh as he pushes the door open and makes his way inside. I take a deep breath, relaxing now that Mercury is gone. I'm wishing for Neo to sit next to me at the edge of the building, although there are still no signs of the sun rising, and it may not for another half an hour to an hour. It is a little past 4 a.m. after all. Is she awake yet? I ask as Neo carefully sits herself to my right, placing her parasol behind her. She looks at me and shakes her head, then down turns her head. She is upset, and I bet I know why. Neo, I do not have any feelings for Weiss. Get that through your head. I sigh, reaching out to grasp her chin, turning her head so I can see the pink of her hair, hidden on the other side of her head. As I successfully turn her head, she looks at me, and then breaks her gaze from me. She knows I hate that, damn it. Neo, look at me. She doesn't budge. Neo, look at me. I command. I can see the growing glow of my eyes begin to illuminate the left half of her tricolored outfit. Yet again, she doesn't respond. That's it. I reach out, clenching my left hand around her throat, forcing her to look at me. I saved your life, and this is how you repay me? I could have left you there. I didn't ask you to play the heroic little girl and aid me against those guys. You think I am satisfied that I was able to keep you alive? I'm not. I hate what I did. I snarl, and that is what makes Neo look at me with tear-stricken eyes. Her body's trembling at my words, but she hasn't heard the full part of what I have to say. I hate myself. I was able to keep you alive, but I couldn't let you keep that soothing voice of yours. I did everything I could to help you. I fainted from exhaustion 3 times while I worked to get you back to full health. Nobody else treated you. It was me and me alone. Do you know why it was only me? Why I didn't let anyone else step within 10 feet of you? She looks at me and slowly shakes her head. Her right hand gently grasps my wrist, but my grip doesn't waver in the slightest. Instead, it tightens until she moves her hand away. I tug her closer to me, making her look at my glowing gaze. Because I felt responsible when I saw your punctured throat, fractured skull, broken hand, twisted ankle. Yet when you looked at me, you smiled. While coughing up blood, you had the audacity to smile at me. I begin to pant, needing to close my eyes and calm my mind before opening them again, and looking at Nia with that same look on her face. That harmless gaze and that smile of hers. The exact same smile she had that day. Why does she always smile? What the hell is wrong with her? When I look back at her, her smile fades slightly, and her eyes begin to close. I realize I am still clenching her throat and quickly let go, hearing slightly heavy pants as she takes fresh air into her lungs. She has always been like this. Even when I threaten her life myself, she makes no attempt to stop me. If I were to grab her blade and hold it to her throat, she would only close her eyes and patiently wait for an end. I should know. I've done it to her before after she killed a faunus who I wanted to interrogate after it. Had the unfortunate luck of seeing the White Fang operating from the warehouse in Southeast Vale several months ago. Damn it, Neo. You act like you don't care if I kill you. I watch as she places a hand to her throat. After hearing my words, she looks at me and nods her head. I've known you for what, 2 years? And I still don't understand your thought process. I don't even know what your real name was back then. What was that story you tried to sell me? You wanted to see which color would look better in your hair, so you used 2 different colored hair dyes, and then added a white streak for shits and giggles? Don't think I bought that crap for a second. But it did make it easier to find a name for you. Although I'm sorry the hair color became permanent. Trust me, I like Neapolitan ice cream a lot, but not enough to leave you with such an odd hair combination. But it does look nice. For some reason, I always become a mild chatterbox when I'm with Neo. Every time I ask a question, I can hear that sweet voice of her from 2 years ago answer me through the look in her eyes. Anyway, was Ruby Rose at her bedside like always? Neo inches closer to me, nodding her head before resting it on my shoulder. If Mercury saw us like this right now, he would never let me live it down. I see. Looks like I won't be able to check on Weiss's arm anytime soon. She must have really pushed herself into a new gear if she has been out cold for this long. I doubt her body will accept my aura. It doesn't seem she can handle the extra power and extra fatigue that comes with it. I can feel a tug on my sleeve, and when I look down at Neo, she is smiling at me and nodding her head. Of course she'd be happy with that. You're the only person who has been compatible enough to hold that much of my aura, and even keep every bit of it. You are inhuman, Neo. I shake my head, starting to push away from the edge of the building so I can stand up, but her grip on my sleeve stops me, and the softened look in her eyes lets me know what she wants. I am not sure how it developed, but I can read her emotions through the slightest change in her stare or body language, even by how many times she blinks or how quick she is breathing. Neo can't hide a thing from me for that specific reason, and has sprouted into a no secrets rule between us. Actually, that rule has been very one-sided since I don't like to share all my thoughts. I gave you 1 to 4 days ago after your skirmish for RWBY, Neo. You do not need another. Well, I gave you 1 4 days ago. Well, sorry about that. I just thought that was a typo, but that's my fault right there. Sorry. Her softened stare doesn't budge the slightest. I try to tug my arm away to get my sleeve from her grip, but she doesn't release it at all. Neo, you're not getting one, and that is final. Now let me go, I hiss, but she still refuses to let go of my arm. I shoot my left hand out, jabbing my index and middle finger to her shoulder, paralyzing her arm for a few seconds and making her release me. But at the same time, she uses her other hand to grab the hand I just struck her with, and still keeps her eyes locked to mine. You pesky little... I take a deep breath and look over my shoulder to the closed door of the stairwell. You really want one that badly? I ask while turning my head back at her. She gives a quick nod of her head and smiles when I sigh. It's my usual tell that I've given up with arguing with her. Fine. Make it quick. It's not even a second before I give her the okay to do as she wishes. She places her hand on my shoulder and leans up to press her lips to mine. She is always so elated when I give her a kiss. It became my reward for her once a month, then twice a month, and now has been once a week. It has been a once a week thing. But she has always been getting greedy and has hustled herself several extras. I slide my right arm underneath her paralyzed limb, pulling her closer to me as our lips lock. She knows better than to try to add tongue, at least not until I provoke it. She has this little thing of hers with tugging on my lower lip. Not that I mind, but she always seems to favor that motion over anything else. And now is no different. I can feel her soft lips tugging at my lower lip. Her movements are so slow and patient, waiting for me to make a move so she can counter. The second I try to pull myself back, she darts forward, not allowing me to do so. Just like her fighting style, patient yet aggressive. The exact way I taught her to be. Reluctantly, she pulls away after about a half a minute, respecting my command for it not to be too long, although she has such a goofy smile on her face now that I can't help but shake my head. Satisfied? I ask, while moving my hand from her back, and as usual, she gives me a cheek-to-cheek smile and lays her head on my shoulder. Do not get me wrong, I cherish Neo's company. I can safely say she is the closest person to me, although I will never utter those words out loud. She could be such a naive girl when it comes to being near me, yet on the battlefield she is the most feared person, no matter the occasion. Alright, Neo. I need you to deliver something for me. To Ruby Rose. I feel her clench on my shoulder with her unparalyzed arm. I reach into my pocket to pull out a standard envelope that is sealed with a letter already inside. I hold it between my index and middle fingers in front of Neo's face, waiting a few seconds before she gently takes it from my grip. I want her awake when you give it to her, and you are to wait for a response. Understood? I looked at Neo, who reluctantly nods her head and slides to her feet while gathering her parasol. She stands at the edge of the building, bowing her head to me. I watch as both of her eyes turn white while she jumps backwards and disappears in a slight flash. Seconds after her disappearance, I am greeted by the blinding light of the sunrise. Damn it. I should have kept her here a bit longer. I could have used her parasol for the damn sun. So, as I was saying before, do you look around the edges or dive right in? My eyes widen as I look over my shoulder to see Mercury leaning against the doorway with a smirk across his face. Get the fuck out of here! I scream, opening the pouch on my hip and sending several crystallized Neos straight after him. He goes wide-eyed and darts down the stairwell. I watch as my crystals enter the doorway before the door closes and curve down the stairs. I let out a smile of satisfaction and a wave of relief when I hear Mercury screaming in pain and cursing in a combination that will make a sailor blush. I like to look around the edges, only because I usually get sprinkles. I whispered to myself. You know, I think I did alright. I wonder how that'll be on the voice recorder. Like, it's so weird. The voice recorder on Windows 10 is so much different than the one on Windows 8 and 7. It's like, it used to be like a very tiny window, like, you know, it shows you like, oh yeah, the audio levels and then the amount of time it's been. This one is just a window that you can like resize, and then it's like a very simple, like, oh, there's like the press record button, and then there's the pause button below it, and it gives you the time above everything. It's so weird, and it looks more modern, which I love, because the older one was really ticking me off at times. Anyways, let's begin chapter 38. A cherry on top. Ooh, this isn't a new POV, and guess what it is? Neapolitan. Oh man, this is gonna be stressing. I don't know how she would sound like. I mean, actually, never mind, this isn't a new POV. God damn it, I forgot. Oh man, I'm stupid. Anyways, sorry about that. Here's chapter 38. You already know the title. I believe I told you already. If not, this is the cherry on top. In Neo's fucking shit. In Neo's POV. I'm gonna get so many comments out of this. Alright. If Cinder thought I was going to do all this running around to check on the Schnee girl for free, then she has another thing coming. I come to a small landing on top of the medical building within Beacon. The room Weiss Schnee is in is directly below where I am standing, and I made sure to keep the window cracked open to make it easy for me to enter with a little use of my blade to lever the window up. I sit myself down at the edge of the building, sighing at the thought of the black and white haired girl seeing me in the hospital room. It may not be a pretty sight or as lovely a conversation as I wish it could be, but she didn't train me for my combat ability not to be used. I closed my eyes, taking a deep breath as I entered a darkened abyss, the only thing present being a large sofa split into 3 sections by color. From my left to my right, the colors are pink, white, and brown. The only other piece of furniture is a sofa behind me that I sit down in that also has the 3 colors, but the colors are not as organized as the sofa. How about that? The tricolored miracle decides to visit us of her own accord. I hear the arrogance and sarcasm of Coco as she appears on the brown section of the couch. Hush, Coco. I'm sure she will be wanting 2 of us to be ready just in case things go sour. Barry says as she appears on the pink portion of the sofa on the other side from Coco, and she is completely right. Honestly, now that I think about it, none of them are ever wrong with what they say. They're all different parts of my own mind and relay exactly what I'm thinking, voicing things, well, sort of voicing things that I otherwise would never utter. Well, can't utter. This is depressing. Aw, you 2 are always so formal. A pouting Vanilla appears between the 2 of them, smiling ear to ear at me. So, Neo, why are you blushing, Van asks, extending her hand out for her snow-white parasol to appear, just before she vanishes and appears behind me, draping her arms over my shoulders. I feel my cheeks redden further at their question, and downcast my head to let my hair hide my cheeks from the other 2. She does seem to be much happier. Why can't we just know everything she does? It will make this crap so much fucking easier, Coco groans, again being the short-tempered one, even over the simplest of things. That's not how it works, Coco. We only appear on her will, or when she gets her adrenaline pumping, but she does seem happier. Neo, care to share? Strawberry smiles at me, being very friendly as always, and with her formal attitude never making it seem like she is prodding, when honestly, she is prodding harder than the other 2. She used to get flustered like this rarely. It appears to be happening more often than not nowadays, Barry continues. Don't think it has to do with Cinder, do you, Bear? Coco whispers to Barry, and oh man, that was a fucking whisper to Barry, and I look at the 2 of them with wide eyes prior to shaking my head. Ooh, Neo's in love. Vanny giggles from behind me and begins to sing. Neo and Cinder sitting in a tree. Kissing. First comes love, then comes craving. Leave our Neo moaning and practically screaming. Oh man. I thought I did good on that. Anyways, my eyes widen an advanced twist on the common made-up song, and as I turn around and attempt to strangle her, she disappears in that same flash as earlier. Aw, don't be mad, Neo. You should see the things Coco and Barry do when you're not around. Vanny continues to giggle. I look over my shoulder to see her standing at the foot of the couch, and behind her are the very wide-eyed Coco and Barry. I put Barry in there for no reason. Wait, my manifestations can do that? Aren't they in my head? What the hell? I think you are mistaken, Vanilla. Coco and I never get along in any aspect. Why would we get along when it comes to intimacy? I look towards Strawberry while she speaks, knowing the clearly visible blush on her face. Precisely. Who wouldn't want to do a thing like that with that prissy goody bitch over there? Coco whispers, nodding her head, but I can also see a blush on her face as well. Excuse me? Barry shouts, and Vanilla walks away, taking a moment to sit on the arm of my chair to watch the upcoming argument with me. Don't get so defensive. Sheesh. Coco waves her arm, trying to brush her off. You insensitive brat. I think I have proven that I am well past goody. I do recall you were screaming for... Barry pauses, going wide-eyed as she realizes her slip-up, and slowly looks at me while Coco is hiding her face within her hand, and most likely covering up a massive blush. Told you, Neo. Vanilla giggles. So, I am guessing you need two of us right now, huh? Do you need to go into the hospital room again? I nod my head, letting out a soft sigh. I've been running back and forth between Cinder and the hospital for 3 days now. Well, 3 days. Making midnight trips for Cinder to monitor when Weiss will be discharged. Yet that Ruby Rose is always present, and thus not allowing me to get a closer look at Weiss to get a clearer look for any injuries, since the white-haired girl is always covered by the hospital blanket. That's so boring. Huh. I don't want to play with that girl. She's all mopey and stuff. I'll get you in the room, but Coco and Berber will help out. Is that already? I nod my head to Vanilla, and Barry lets out a loud sigh. Come on, Coco. We're on standby. Barry whispers as she stands up from the couch and fades away. Prissy little dumbass can keep her thoughts and tongue to herself, I swear. Coco groans as she disappears while still in that embarrassed sitting position. You should just visit us to say hi sometimes. We aren't that bad, are we? Vanilla slides from the arm of my chair and onto my lap, giving me a warm, unnerving smile. Is this the way I smile at Cinder? Anyway, let's get you in that room. Vanilla out! She shouts, almost directly into my ear, and vanishes again using that white flash of hers. You know, I'm gonna do that just now. Vanilla out. I let out a soft sigh, and on my next blink, I am back to looking at the edge of the building. I should probably check and see if my mic desensitized after that. Okay, it did not, hopefully. Oh, it didn't. Sweet. Sorry about that, headphone users and speaker users, in case there was someone around. But, alright. And on my next blink, I am back to looking at the edge of the building. Well, come on, Van, you're up. I close my eyes and jump off the edge of the building with my parasol open. When I open my eyes, I can hear Vanilla's giggles. Alrighty, in we go. I see a bright white flash, something similar to lightning, and after the flash fades, I am standing within the hospital room. In the far corner is Ruby Rose sleeping in a chair with her head resting on Weiss's leg. And the heiress is asleep in a hospital gown, her hair down, and a light blue blanket over her form. There is a faint beeping in the room, most likely from the device monitoring her heartbeat. From the corner I am standing in, I can see the only window of the room along with the wall to my left. Oh shit. Along the wall to my right is nothing of value, aside from a small table with a get well soon card on it. Oh shit. Oh man, the fucking hiccups. Sorry about that if you heard me burping. Anyways, I walk over to the table and open the card up to see something written in bold black writing, most likely from some sort of Sharpie marker. I raise an eyebrow, assuming it is some sort of spelling error as I read the sentence in my head. Wake up soon, Weiss. We are anxious to see you. BNY. I shrug my shoulders and direct my attention towards the fast asleep Ruby Rose. I do not want to get close to her, although it does not appear she has that overgrown scythe of hers nearby, which puts me more at ease. Water time. You know, I'm just gonna leave in like my coughs and everything, just to making guys feel bad for me. Barry, Coco, you two are up. As I blink again, my head is filled with a mild bickering between the two, despite them knowing I called them forth. I said I'm sorry, Coco. I hate it when you insult me. You could have been a little kinder with your insults. Since when am I ever kind? I have called you far worse names than a prissy goody-goody bitch, Coco retaliates. I'm in no rush to wake up the sleeping reapers, so I stand there with my arms folded, rolling my eyes as I wait for them to finish. Well, all those so-called worst names were in the bedroom. My eyes go wide, I quickly draw the line. Alright, you two, I have to deal with the fact that you both are nymphomaniacs or living in my subconsciousness. Or subconscious. That doesn't mean I accept it. I don't know if you two are acting like this on your own, or if I'm thinking this up as a form of entertainment, or if some of my subconscious thoughts have you like this. But I don't want to hear another word of your ice cream swirling. I swear, how you two even developed feelings of lust when you two aren't even manifestations of that emotion is beyond my understanding. Actually, Barry's my caring intelligence, so that is no surprise. But you, Coco, because you've been getting really mad at Cinder recently. Yet deep down there is some affection I am assuming is rubbing off on me. Love-struck puppy bitch. Coco taunts, making me stomp my foot on the floor hard in a pout. Am not. R2, she repeats again. I am not in love with Cinder. I stomp again, not liking where this conversation is heading at all. Sorry to say, Neo darling, but you sort of are. Many times during a fight, you worry more for if you should kill or bring the person alive, because you don't know which one will get you more praise from her. It's a rather unhealthy addiction you have, Barry says in a calm tone. I am not addicted to Cinder Fall, I shout in my head, slamming my umbrella on the ground and completely forgetting I am in the hospital room. Who's there? I hear a high-pitched voice ask, and when I look at the bedside, I can see the silver eyes staring right at me, making me gulp. Damn it, the bitch woke up. Nice going, Neo. Shut the fuck up, Coco. You're that Neo girl. She slowly stands up. I really want to turn on the fan behind me, but I don't want it to be caught in the microphone, so I'm not going to do that, even though it is getting hot in here. She slowly stands up. I make another quick look around for her weapon and become much more relaxed since I do not see it. I'm scared of fighting her only because I may end up getting the Weiss girl caught in the crossfire, and Cinder will be far less than pleased were that to happen. I reach into my jacket pocket to pull out the sealed envelope and toss it over to her before she has a chance to advance at me. What's this? She asks, keeping her eye on me while she carefully lowers to her crouch to pick up the envelope. I hate it when people ask me anything that's not a yes or no question. I sigh, sitting down on the chair near the table with the get well card on it. Cinder wanted me to wait her response, so hopefully I can leave here without a hassle, or else I'll be trying to take another kiss from Cinder for putting me through all this. Actually, that's not a half bad idea. Maybe I could try for one every 3 days. I see. I ponder on ways to inch up my amount of monthly Cinder kisses, and I don't even realize at first that the silver-eyed Reaper is standing in front of me with a letter in her hand. Tell her I will believe her when Weiss's aura levels are no longer off the charts. She looks at me with anger in her eyes, but hands me the paper very gently. And thank you for being quiet. I raise my eyebrow, very surprised at how polite she is, being now that she was past her lover in her sights. I stand up from her seat, shrugging my shoulders as I walk over to the window to take my leave, but I am stopped when she calls out my name for the second time. Neo, right? I look over my shoulder and give her a nod. With each blink, my brown and pink eyes switch back and forth. Could you maybe make both eyes the same color? She smiles. Huh? Coco, take a break, I guess. Whatever. I wanted to kill the bitch, but I guess nothing bloody is going to happen today. Coco sighs, and after my next blink, I no longer hear her voice. Well, at least there's a tiny bit of symmetry on you now. I feel better. She nods her head and goes back to sit next to Weiss, leaving me dumbfounded as I stand there. Symmetry? What the hell does it matter if there's any symmetry on me? I thought I was an odd one with 3 voices in my head, but she is just so irregular. You're one to talk, Neo, Barry whispers to me, making me roll my eyes out of annoyance. I should have let Coco stay. Look, sorry about the whole thing that happened a few days ago. Never mind. Let me repeat that. Sorry, guys. Look, sorry about the whole thing that happened a few days ago. I was not myself. She lets out a loud sigh and looks over her shoulder at me. Could we, like, start over? Even though your leader abducted my girlfriend and put dust into her system. Also, I had time to think about it. Tell her I don't like her mind games. At all. And I'll be returning her card to her before long. Just you wait. She cleared her throat, standing up from the chair and walking over to me. I hold on to the handle of my parasol in my right hand and grab the shaft with my left, ready to draw my blade should she make even the slightest movement. Slightest move. Sorry about that. Neo, you simple-minded girl. Relax before you end up killing an unarmed girl. Mind you, Cinder will never forgive you if you do such a thing to a girl she has taken an odd interest in. I take a deep breath, realizing that Barry is right. Fucking Barry. I let go of the shaft of the parasol, watching as Ruby Rose walks up to me with her left hand extended. I'm Ruby, and you don't talk much. I shake my head, shaking her hand and giving her my usual smile. I then turn around, opening the window and standing on the edge. Barry, go get Van for me. I'm leaving. I stand patiently at the window, waiting a few seconds for Van's cheery giggles to greet me, but in the meantime, Ruby seems to keep trying her attempts to get to know me, but I don't care about knowing her. Throughout my life, only one person has gotten to know me, and it still pains her to look at me for one reason or the other. So, I'll see you some other time? Maybe share lunch? You need to stop trying. I nod my head to her and then shrug my shoulders. Eventually I hear the giggling I predicted earlier echo in my head. It's about time Van showed up. Good, let's get out of here, Vanilla. We're going to the warehouse for now. I'll relay her message to Cinder later. Aye aye, Captain Neo. I open my parasol and turn around to face Ruby. I give a polite bow as I jump backwards, my eyes turning white with Van's presence, and a familiar blinding flash disrupts my vision as I disappear from Beacon Academy and end up in Southeast Vale, where Roman is once again complaining about the poor workforce he is required to use. I take a deep breath and make my appearance known, ready to carry out my work for Roman, and hopefully have enough time to retreat to Cinder before long. I hate being away from her. Oh my god, I fucking love this chapter. Like, not because of like how amazing it was, just not how amazingly detailed it was and how strange it is for Ruby for trying to get to know her, even though like she should stop trying. I mean, just how it was like trying to put the voices in. I mean, that was like a full-on Neo chapter, except for some dialogue from Ruby and Cinder, and well, not Cinder, but man, that was just so fucking fun to do. It was awesome. Anyways, here is the final chapter of this session, because I'm gonna start doing the 3-chapter thing again. I'd rather not do. How many did I do last time? Like 5 chapters or 6? I don't know. Anyways, let's begin chapter 39. An odd yet understandable request, and this is in some random POV, or as you guys see it if you are reading along, question mark, question mark, question mark, otherwise known as unknown. I am way too bubbly and energetic for this. It's been a long week thus far, but among the many things happening out within Vale, there are even more events occurring in the small community of Beacon Academy. Team Juniper's Nora Valkyrie was reported to have broken the leader of Team Cardin Winchester about 26 hours ago, upon delivering an insult to her partner Lai Ren about his pink streak being faggoty, as quoted by Miss Goodwitch in a report, and interrogation of the 3 students involved. Although my attention has been more focused on a rather odd situation, I was approached on by a very familiar face. Weiss has been unconscious for what will be exactly 10 days and about 4 hours. Although that is not the full story. Okay, I am predicting that it is going to be Professor Ozpin. Alright, anyways, let me get into his voice if I'm predicting that. Weiss should have been awake no more than 2 days after the incident, which would have placed her a day after Yang Xiaolong's hospital dismissal. I was approached by Ruby Rose several hours after the incident with an odd proposal that she wished to implement, even went as far as to prepare a device based off of blueprints for one of my old classmates. A dusty old crow that dared to teach his niece to use one of the most dangerous weapons I have had the courtesy to lay my eyes on. Crow, old friend, I fear that your own training device is now being used in a far more protective manner. If she weren't your niece, I would never have permitted her to use it in such a method. I say aloud while taking a sip of my coffee, and take a moment to recall the brief meeting I held with Ruby Rose. Thank you for seeing me, Professor Ozpin. I look at the silver eyes of Ruby Rose as she speaks, her gratitude showing in those sweet silver eyes of hers. A look she definitely received from her mother, and her determination as a huntress is equal to her mother's personality. Well, when you bumped into me in the hallway, it was hardly a given choice. It is not my place to refuse helping one of my distressed students. I assume this has to do with your partner, Miss Schnee, does it not? I raise an eyebrow, also interlacing my fingers and using my hands to cover my mouth. How did you know? She asked, looking down at her ankles. Miss Rose, as a team leader, I would expect your initial concerns to be of your teammates, especially when you appear to be a lot closer to one of them than the rest. My words bring a slight blush to her lips. Brush to her lips. God damn it! And as she opens her mouth to say something, I raise my hand to stop her. Although it is none of my business of the relations between students, so long as their academics are held in high regards, and yours have increased a steady amount, which I am sure is due to Miss Schnee taking extra time to tutor you. Thanks, Professor, she whispers, flashing me another warm smile. For what, Miss Rose? My main concern is academics. Now, what is the problem? What is this problem you wish to speak with me about? Well, like you said, it's about Weiss, and she's fucking damn it. She's sort of in danger, and me coming here is only putting her in more danger, and all I want to do is keep her safe, but by coming here I may not be, and I'm going in circles. She takes a deep breath, making a second attempt. Okay, so Weiss got punched by my sis Yang, then went out, met someone that fixed her arm up, but that person put stuff in her arm, and I raised my hand to her, nodding my head. Before we proceed, if this is an endangerment to Miss Schnee, let us not proceed any further. I am sure you wouldn't come here to me without a possible solution to this problem. You are a bright girl, Miss Rose. So, let us skip the background for now. Okay. She goes into her uniform pocket and pulls out a small metal bracelet of some kind with several dials and an adjustable gauge on the side. I recognize the device immediately as one of Crow's training devices. It was used to restrict the amount of aura one is able to access to make one less reliant on aura, or to learn to use it in small amounts to better themselves in prolonged fights. I want to put this on Weiss as soon as possible. Miss Rose, why would you need my permission? You may ask Miss Schnee upon her dismissal before the... No, I want it on her now. She has a very powerful aura right now, and it's because of what happened prior to her spar with Yang. I want to put this on her so her recovery is slow to make sure she stays asleep for at least another 9 days. She looks at me with shaking hands, her fingernails clanking against the training bracelet. And you wish her to remain asleep as a safety measure? To know where she is at all times and also be able to avoid her using her extra supply of aura? Is that it? I hope you know that Miss Schnee will not approve you keeping her out of school for such an extended duration, should she find out. She won't find out. Hopefully. And she won't be able to study if something else happens to her. Something else happens to her. Ruby looks at me again with those eyes that remind me of her mother, the only other person I recall having silver eyes. I assume you know what levels to set her aura at, and whether to increase or decrease it each day. I raise an eyebrow, amazed at how a training device is now being used in a way completely different from its intended use. But that was just the ability to think out of the box that the niece of Crow was capable of. The man himself was already a box of chocolate personified. I can only imagine how any of the family after him would turn out. Of course, I will set it to 20% the first day to make sure she heals a majority of the times, then lower it to 5% to slow the rest of her healing, and I will raise it to 15% during the last 2 days to let her aura levels regulate slightly, and finally I will remove it to let her go back to the standard. I am very impressed at how deep she has gone into this before bringing it to my attention, although there is one more question I have. The standard person can now have their aura restricted below 10% and still heal themselves effectively. Is or was Miss Schnee's aura at such a high amount that you feel the need to bring it down to such a low fraction? Professor, she was able to block Yang at full power. Nobody in Vale can block Yang at full power, and on top of that, she is currently healing faster than my sister, and that is something else that is impossible. I'm scared for what she is becoming, and I don't want this to continue. Please, Professor Ozpin, I don't want her to be like this. I'm scared of and for her. The young huntress's eyes begin to tear up, meeting my gaze in hopes of the answer she is searching for. I'll accompany you down. I'll accompany you down to the medical building to make sure no hassle is given to you while you apply the device. I take a moment to finish my coffee and stand up from my desk with a hyper cape wearing girl dashing for the door and holding it open with an overly excited smile on her face. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, she says at a record pace while I walk past her, unable to hide a smile at how she is able to go from a serious and sorrowful look to the attitude of a hyper child. She's just like Summer, a spitting image. We arrive at the medical building before long, several of the staff taking a moment to stop and greet me, although I have made it clear there is no need for those kinds of formalities. We enter the room where Weiss is with myself leading. As I first open the door, I see a brief flash, although there is no lighting, and it is far too bright for a flickering light to cause such a thing. I decide not to dwell too much on it, since there appears to be nothing wrong with the sleeping Weiss, aside from the fact that she appears to be in too stable of a position, health and aura-wise. I can see why her team leader would want to implement something like this simply from the sight of how fast she is healing. It is something subhuman at the very least, and not even some of the best aura users in the world have recovered from complete exhaustion, fatigue, bruised ribs, and a broken left wrist at such a pace. All of those physical injuries have been reported to have been healed, and all that is left is for her aura to reach a level that her body will accept, and she will be awake no later than that. You may place the device, Miss Rose. I will inform the staff that it is not to come off for any reason. I will also allow you to have unrestricted and unlimited access to Miss Schnee's room, so long as you abide by some of the rules we have established here. No eating, no excess noise, and no wandering about the building after certain hours. I watch as RWBY quickly opens up the bracelet and places it over Weiss' left wrist. The device begins to glow, and as a typical reaction to having one's aura restricted, I can see a slight uncomfortable wince in the rapier-wielding girl, prior to her face settling back down into the relaxed expression she had upon her entering. I won't be stepping a foot out of this room after hours, Professor. I'm not leaving her side until she is awake, and I want to make sure I can make any changes to the gauge just in case. Water time. I'm feeling like I'm doing a pretty good Professor Ozpin voice. Let me know in the comments, everybody. She flashes her warmest smile to me, although her hands still linger on the unconscious student, making me quirk a brow, but not question. Good. Also, didn't a rather large ammunition shipment arrive for Yang yesterday? I doubt the storage team will be happy to be keeping that in the arrival room until Yang is able to confirm its arrival. Actually, Blake took care of that yesterday. She took Yang's ID, her own ID, and a student registration paperwork that has her labeled as Yang's partner. Again, I'm impressed at the quick ability for Team RWBY to look after their own. But that is just the type of homework, teamwork, and support I wish I could see more of in Beacon. Then all is well. I suppose I'll be taking my leave, then. I'm glad to be of service, Miss Rose. I give a soft nod to her in that slide, and she gives me a quick farewell before darting about the room to pull a chair to the bedside and sit there next to her partner, although she makes very little attempts to hide that they are more than just partners. Naturally, I already knew of their improved relationship. It is not hard once one walks by the two in the hallway, and a few times I catch her shift for being in such a close proximity to one shoving the other away and starting to utter unprovoked insults that the other takes with a smile and without question. As I leave the room, I am greeted by my colleague, Glinda Goodwitch, who happens to be standing with the stern look of constant annoyance she bears. Yes, Glinda? After a little checking, I have found that there are 3 students within the logs that are not registered in a school within any of the kingdoms, despite claiming and wearing a uniform representing Haven. A Cinderfall, Mercury Black, and Emerald Sistray. I'm already aware of this, Glinda, and I will take care of things when the time calls for it. but right now they are doing no harm. I don't know if you should be saying that, Professor Ozpin. I sigh, already knowing the next onslaught. Ozpin, I am sure you are goddamn, what's wrong with me? I am sure you are well aware that one of those individuals is the reason for that aura spike in Miss Schnee, and it could be exceptionally harmful if she is able to do it again. Her stare is as cold as ice from her green eyes, and the curl along the right side of her face does no good in hiding the piercing stare. Although I have grown to not be as bothered by it, she is very much this person to wear her emotions on her sleeve, as long as it is an anger or annoyance. She won't be doing it again, Glinda, I state simply as I walk past her. And if she does, well then I will treat you to a candlelit dinner in Vale. Does that satisfy you? Not in the slightest. She whips with a very mild hostility in her voice. I suppose I chose the wrong words to try to line the mood with. As I exit the building with Glinda, still voicing her disapprovals to my decision to leave the invading trio alone, I decide to look over my shoulder to say something, but I am treated to a rather odd sight instead. On top of the roof to the medical center is a girl. I believe she only has brown hair, but when she turns her head, I see that the other half of her hair is pink. My, things only seem to get more interesting around here. It appears she is aware of my gaze and gives a very graceful curtsy in my direction before opening an umbrella and disappearing in a white flash. So, that was you then. I see. I am snapped out of my flashback upon hearing a firm knock at the door to my office. Enter, I say in a clear voice to whoever is on the other side of the door. When I see it open, I am not surprised that it is just the person I wanted to see, and she has arrived in a very timely manner. You wanted to see me, sir? She asked in a very slow and clear voice. Sir? How quaint. Professor will suffice, and please, come in. My request is acknowledged with a nod as a slim figure enters with a mild grin on her face. As she sits down on the other side of my desk, I lean forward to prop my elbows on my desk. I'm doing that right now, actually, observing the Haven uniform before I whisper. I am sure you know why I called you here. I have let your presence slide, but I will not tolerate my students being harmed. With that on the table, what is your purpose for setting into my school, Miss Cinderfall? Wow, that was very good. I felt like I did a good job with Professor Ozpin's voice, but please, let me know what you thought about that by posting a comment about it. Oh. Anyways, sorry about that. All right. Well, that is it for now. Goddamn, this like part of my hair is like just going against my eyes. Anyways, okay, guys, I'm here to give you some bad news. School is gonna actually start up for my sophomore year of high school, and that will be next Tuesday, which is almost a week from now. As I'm talking to you about this, and I'm not sure how I'm going to pull off how I'm going to do my narrations and things like that. It depends if my brother's still gonna have his job during school. And if that is possible, then I will still be able to narrate at the same schedule I have, unless I'm still in AP classes like last year. And let me tell you guys something. I am not going to, if I do have AP classes, I am going to make sure that I take my time on them. Because last year I had a really stressful time, and I do not want to have it happen again. Anyways, that is part of what I wanted to say. Also, I'm going to begin doing live narrations on my Twitch channel, because I realized that there is actually whenever you see a person streaming, it says the title, and then below it says their username, and it says is now playing something. I realized that there is actually a creativity mode for that. So I will actually do live narrations under that type or game. I'll just call it game because it's actually, everything else is a game. But yeah, you guys know what I mean. But I might begin doing live narrations soon enough, and I will be doing one-shots because if I try to do a multi-chaptered story on my Twitch channel, that is going to be difficult because it'll take more than one session to do it, unless it's a marathon of some sort, and then I will do that. But probably I'll end up having to do like a 30-minute break or something, just so my voice can, you know, relax and, you know, go back to normal. But I don't know, what am I talking about anyways? I mean, I might have just spoiled that I might be doing a marathon for narrations before school begins. Okay, never mind. I'm not doing that. I forgot my brother, who still is living in this room living in this room with me. Sorry about that. And it will be rather stressful because he'll be just trying to mess me up. Like a dick. Or a knobhead, as Gavin likes to say it. X-Rain Vav, everybody. But, yeah. That is the second thing I wanted to get across. And, well... Anyways, we're already over the halfway point when this video uploads, and well, I want to let you guys know that I will be doing another story after after this video. It will be chapters 40 to 42, and then it'll be 43 to 45. After that, after those other videos come up, I will be reading Children of Summer along with A Beacon of Hope, just so that there's more than one piece of content being, more than one fanfic being narrated. Because, I mean, there's gotta be variety to this channel, and I do not want to wait any longer for that. So, I hope you guys understand that, and if I'm actually really quick at uploading, if I'm really good at uploading before the deadline, which I am actually doing now, you'll be expecting 2 videos every week, unless I did some other narration sessions after this one, which I will. So, anyways, after chapter 45, after chapters 43 to 45, you will be expecting another fanfic to be read. I am sounding really, really professional for some reason. I shouldn't be sounding professional. Since when am I ever professional except for the fucking narrations? You guys should actually ask George about how I sound whenever I'm talking with him. Sometimes I just sound too professional. I can't believe I haven't been hired on as a voice actor, because that'll be really, really awesome. Anyways, there's one last thing I need to get across. I'm sorry. Alright, so there is another thing you guys should expect. I keep trying to put this in to my other narration videos that I've done since after chapter 10, and I want to get it across right now. Well, I mean, just expect it. It might not come anytime soon, obviously, because the channel's still in a very small state, and I'd rather not rush it. And I want you guys to, get settled into the channel and everything still. And, just wait for the channel to grow up a lot more before I put it up. But the thing is that I'm actually thinking about making a Patreon for this. Obviously, it's non-profit, and, well, obviously the channel's non-profit. I don't want to really take your money for, hearing my narrations. That's why my videos aren't monetized, even though those are based off of ads and everybody uses ad blocker nowadays. But I want to, if you guys really love my narrations and things like that, then my Patreon will be the answer for giving your gratitude in return, more than just a comment on the YouTube video comment thing. Anyways, it won't be happening anytime soon, like I said, but expect the Patreon account to be opening up maybe early next year. And if I were to think at the least, like at the earliest, I would think December or after my birthday, because, well, my Patreon is just there just so that I know that you guys are loving my narrations and things like that, and I'm doing a good job. That means I want to do more. I want to improve. Because if you guys love it already, then there's got to be some way I can do more to it. And alright guys, so I didn't explain very good about the whole Patreon thing. So when you think about Patreon, if you guys don't know what it is, for those that are new to it, it's basically, think about it as a Kickstarter, but it's not like, oh yeah, they're still trying to make it and stuff like that. There are people that are already creating things like indie films, music, art, and you know, you can basically put a Patreon for anything except for something inappropriate. But for this case, it'll be my fanfiction narrations and my fanfiction content in general. So it isn't just for the narrating, it is also for my writing. And like I said, I know I didn't say anything about it, but I wanted to get it across. This is completely optional. I'm not trying to prod it onto you guys, but if you guys really love like my narrations, and if you guys actually read my stories and love them too, then Patreon is your answer for giving more than just a comment of gratitude. If you guys want to donate. And well, the thing why I like this can help me, if you guys are wondering that, is because one, I can, you know, like as money starts rolling in, I can actually start buying better equipment and things like that. And well, I'm gonna be honest, my webcam isn't that great for narrating because for some reason it tends to have a bit of a latency. So there's that. And what else? Yeah, like for all the Patreon money that's given to me, if you guys are donating, I'm only going to use it for improving like my channel and my PC, because you know, obviously I need to have enough hard drive space in my PC, and well, I do streaming on the side too along with my fanfiction stuff, so I can improve it by making the computer more powerful and things like that. But in most cases for the fanfiction stuff, it's gonna be, well, yeah, I could buy better microphones, and I could probably buy like an actual like awesome camera that I can use for narrating, just so that we can actually have some face cam narrating, which is cool. And well, you know, with that comes, well, more difficult, you know, tasks for my computer, because if I were to start improving the channel, then my computer has to get buff. And right now it is pretty good. Just the only thing I hate about it is my shitty processor and the low amount of RAM I have in it. And the fact that my PC runs really fucking hot, and it's, I don't know how it's not dead yet. But yeah, you know, if this starts getting like better and better, then my equipment has to get better and better, because I want the best for you guys. I want to give you guys the greatest narrations and stuff like that. And obviously, I still fuck up. I'm human. So, yeah. I don't know how to really explain it like easily, because I wasn't really prepared for like giving this entire speech, because I was just looking at the narration as I'm like editing it, and I just realized how shitty I gave this Patreon thing. So, like I said, it's completely optional. I'm not rubbing it off on you. And your money will be used in a very great way, which is improving the channel and my PC, because like I said, I need better hard drive space, because I want to keep all my content into like a folder, and my 3 terabyte hard drive is not going to last forever if I'm playing Steam games on it too, if I'm putting Steam games onto it. And I only have like 1.5 terabytes left, even though I got the computer like 7 or 8 months ago. So yeah, you guys can hear my struggle. So that is pretty much all I have to say about the Patreon stuff. It's gonna be up, well, I said it was gonna be up, like, if I think about it in the earliest, if I were to think of that, it'll be after my birthday. But really, that's the stupidest thing, because I don't know how big the channel will grow, and that just seems early in my opinion, really early. So I'm just gonna say, if I'm gonna think at the latest, then it's gonna be next year in the summer. If I were to think about it in the least now, probably midway into April of next year. And well, I don't know, I want you guys' feedback on this. Is this a good idea for me to do? Because I mean, like I said, it benefits the channel a lot if I'm actually having some sort of way of earning money, so I can make my channel better, you know, do things that, you know, I can't do right now. But yeah, like I said, everything's gonna be used for pretty much what I do. I'm not gonna use it for, actually, now that I think about it, I'm gonna be using it for pretty much everything that I do, which is basically play video games and narrate and write. So yeah, I don't know, like, specifically what will help me, like what else it can help me with. Maybe Photoshop, but you know, Photoshop is not that hard for me to use, and people just say, oh, just get a crack of it, because you know, you don't want to pay monthly for it. But I'd rather be a generous person and actually use genuine software. Plus, Windows 10 is actually hunting down pirated software, which is really scary. So yeah, that is pretty much it. Thank you guys for listening, if you guys are still tuned into this part, because you know, the narration's already finished and things like that. So yeah, thank you for hearing me out, and please let me know about this in the comments, because I do not know if it is a good idea for me to do so or not, even though I did give some really great reasons for it. So yeah, alright, I can, you know, end this video now. Expect the next narration to come in maybe on Saturday, because I already have it recorded, and I want to, you know, upload a bit quicker, because obviously next Tuesday I'm going to be prepping for school and stuff like that, so I might as well just do it earlier, so that it can be like every Saturday I can put up a narration, and if I could put it earlier than that, I will. Alright, that's all I have to say, really. I keep saying that and then I have more to say. Alright, stay classy, you guys, and thank you for tuning in.